I really wasn't going to be speaking about this particular subject matter. We're going to be discussing the Dave family, but I've seen tons of the family already talking about it. So I decided to speak on it and put my little awareness on the matter in hopes of letting the FBA family know there ain't no black and brown unity, which by now I'm sure all of the family pretty much already knows. And there ain't no unity with any other groups of people for that matter. Here we have it. An African brother says he owns his own business. He employs FBA brothers as well as Mexicans. And the Mexicans was, coming behind the FBA brothers back to him, and snitching on the FBA brothers in hopes of getting the FBA brothers fired to where as though they could bring Jose and Miguel up into those positions, which is a bunch of nonsense because what the Mexicans thought was they had immigrant solidarity with this brother because they were Mexican and he was African. But this particular African brother, he was on code. He seen himself as a black man. Now, sadly and unfortunately, we know that more often than not, a lot of these Africans, when they get over to the U.S., they begin to tether, and become just as bad as the Mexicans, and taking up an anti-foundational Black American stance on things and tethering, So when other groups of people talk about, unity between foundational Black Americans and their particular group family, what they talking about is an exploitative relationship where they get to come into the Black community and exploit and take our resources without giving a damn thing in return because we as foundational Black Americans, sadly and unfortunately, we've been the only group of people to look out for people outside of our particular group, regardless of race, color, and creed. Foundational Black Americans will hire pretty much anybody, Mexicans, Africans, you name it. These other groups of people just don't do that. They practice group economics. They exploit our community, and they only hire within inside their own community. You know what I mean? And I'm convinced that, when these tethers come over here to America, that the white supremacists tell them to go into the Black community and pull resources out the Black community. Yeah, go down there and set up shop in the Black community. They'll support your business, this, that, or the other. This is why it's, important that we as foundational Black Americans, we look out for our lineage first and foremost. When we take care of other, FBAs first and foremost. If we got a business, we making sure that we filling our business positions up with nothing but foundational Black Americans. And truth be told, when I was going to put out a video on the Marathon Burgers grand opening, because I rock with Nipsey Hussle, I had a lot of love for our brother Nipsey Hussle, but when I seen, their grand opening and I'm watching the video, I was going to talk about it, but then you get to the back of the house, the kitchen is filled with nothing but Mexicans. Ain't no excuse in hell why them positions, shouldn't have been, filled up with nothing but foundational Black American brothers and sisters, so I find it hard to, support any business, even if it's a Black business, to where though they ain't employing nothing but foundational Black American brothers and sisters. You going outside of the community to, hire other people when that should be your own. You think when I got a business, I ain't putting foundational Black Americans, in those positions and slots. If you think I ain't, you smoking, and I could give a damn where the chips may fall. But I'm looking out for my people first and foremost because these other groups of people, they come to America, to exploit from the foundational Black Americans, to take our resources and leave us high and dry. These other groups practice group economics, and they give a damn about our particular group. This is why we must start looking out for foundational Black Americans' needs first and foremost. And I'm so happy, a shift in collective consciousness rather is happening in the FBA community, to where though we getting on cold looking out for people based on lineage, and this is truth be told why they got a problem with the whole FBA thing and us acknowledging our lineage, because we were never supposed to really acknowledge our lineage. You know what I mean? And we were never supposed to look out for our group, based on lineage first and foremost. We were supposed to be that group that was at the bottom class, that permanent underclass, to where though people get to come in our community, pillage, take our resources without giving a damn thing in return, and damn that whole narrative. So I got the audio and the video of this, African brother, saying that the Mexicans, was coming, backdooring the brothers, lying, and snitching, in hopes of getting the brothers fired and, bringing Jose and Felipe up in the mix, which is a bunch of nonsense. And we're going to walk through and talk about it. But I believe it. Fair use.
In my company, I'm a Black man. I own a company. I hire a Latino. The Latino comes back and complain about the African Americans because the Latino thinks because I'm African, I don't have any relationship with the African American. The Latino comes to me and tell me that you are an immigrant. I'm an immigrant. That African American cannot work. I have Jose, I have Gonzalez, my brothers who know how to work very well. You need to fire the African Americans, and I will bring a lot of hardworking Latinos who work for your company. This is my company as a black man. My company. I was a contractor at Quantico Marine Base in Virginia. A contractor for General Electrics. And the Latino workers that are hired, they are snitching on the African American workers that are hired for me to fire the African Americans so they can bring Latinos to take their place. That's what.
In closing, it's a new day and time where we prioritizing the lineage, looking out for other foundational Black Americans' needs first and foremost. So if you got a business family, make sure you're hiring FBA brothers and sisters and putting them in those slots and positions, because we can't afford, truth be told, at this point in the game to not be on code. Just my thoughts on the matter. Peace.